Welcome back to Something Like Therapy. Today's episode is a special one because we are celebrating 1 full year of being alcohol free. A year ago, we made the choice to put down the glass and pick up a new way of living. It hasn't been easy, but it's been worth it. On this episode, we want to take you through the lessons we've learned and the challenges that we faced and the surprising gifts that sobriety has brought into our lives. Whether you are sober curious, in recovery, or just looking for a little inspiration, we hope our story encourages you to know that change is possible, growth is possible, and healing is possible. So let's dive in. Hope you enjoy. Welcome back, guys.
What's up?
This is a super exciting episode because it is one that I never thought we would be filming or recording.
Yeah, definitely not. I mean, that sounds so sad to say. Like, I never thought, like, in the back of my head. I mean, I just went along with it, but I never thought.
Yeah. We're talking about the 1 year is finally here. Sobriety. We did it. That was me clapping for us. Man, it's so crazy. Like, I was really worried about hitting the year. I don't know why I was just so nervous. I had this like anxiety, this like, just this buildup of what it was going to be, what it was going to feel like.
Well, we went through different, like emotions about it. Like throughout the year, we kept talking about like what 1 year will feel like. And at first we were like, oh, of course we want to make it there. Then it went to like a whole, like, I'm getting excited for it. And then it went to a whole like dark place of like, we're actually fearing the 1 year because we said it was our shield. I think we talked about it in another episode.
Yeah, I don't know why it got so dark those last like, I don't know.
Because our minds are dark places. We just it takes us dark places.
It was for some reason just the month number 9 felt so heavy and just like I had so much pressure. I don't know why I felt like someone was gonna like knock on my door and just be like, you gotta drink. Like, you gotta drink. Like, and maybe that was just my own fears and my own insecurity of actually being able to finish this and see it all the way through. Like we talked about that, how we've been known to be people to start something but not finish it, you know, but I feel like for sure within these last 2 years, we've accomplished a lot, and I feel like we've gained a lot of confidence, and we stayed true to a lot of things that we said we were going to do, and we've completed them, and not only just finished them, but we've kept it going. We've been pretty good at that. Yeah. So I knew that was a lie. That was an old belief that I had about myself, but I still felt like I was just going to fail in some way, or that there wasn't any real changes that had taken place. Like I just felt like there was a old part of me that was still lingering, and maybe that's who was knocking at the door. I don't know, but not to get all woo-woo about it, but I felt just this fear and this anxiety. So when that year finally hit, I don't know, like I felt really peaceful. What did you feel?
Well, it's funny. It's like we went through like a pregnancy, because it's like the first trimester is, the morning sickness, and this is hard and it's gross. And then you get into that second trimester where women say like, oh, I'm actually accepted this, and I feel my body feels better. Like I'm just so like happy, and like I feel connected to the baby, and everything's great. And then month 9, or like going into the third trimester, reality hits. It's like, oh shit, this baby has to come out of me. Like this is gonna hurt. Like this is gonna suck. So it's kind of funny. I just thought about that as you were talking. But
maybe those were the birthing pains.
Yeah, just seriously,
like, knowing that this was gonna happen, and that even though it's like the end of something, it felt like the beginning of something else, right? Like this was just the door opening up, and we just went through the test, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Well, like we had talked about it. I think we talked about it on one of the other episode we did on sobriety. How we were saying being within the year, like why the reason why we got scared about the year coming up was that, like I said, it was our shield because we were like, well, we're in the year challenge, and we're not gonna mess up. We already
mm-hmm.
committed to it. Like I'm in the year, I'm doing the year, so nothing's gonna make me drink.
Right.
Um, and the reason why we got scared was just like, well, once that year's up, you're no longer in a challenge, so you don't have that like kind of protection to at that point because after the year, you're in like, you have no defenses. Now there's no reason why you can't take a drink. You
Mm-hmm.
didn't commit to anything else like, if you want to drink, you want to drink. So that's the reason why I know I was worried and I think we both share that we were both worried about it, but I think we also said, now that the year came, we both admitted we were like, why were we so scared? Because like now it's funny, like once you get to that year, like soon as it hit, soon as the clock struck and it was like you're at 1 year, it's sort of like it doesn't matter if I'm not protected by like the challenge. Like I just don't want to do it. Like there
Mm-hmm.
that kind of takes over where it's just like at least in my head, and I think I mentioned it before too, where it's like once I got to 1 month, I was like, okay, I want to see what 3 months feels like. And once I got to 3 months, like let's see what half a year feels like. So now that I'm at a year, I'm just in my head like, well, this is cool. What will 2 years feel like? And I think it'll
Right.
just continue. At least that's how I look at it, where it's like not like I mean, I guess I am challenging myself, but I'm more just curious just to see like if I feel this great at 1 year, what is 5 years going to feel
Mm-hmm.
like, So that's kind of my overall feeling of it. And I think what stops me is like, I don't know. I would just feel like I would be so disappointed if I'm like take a drink because it's just so like, meh, why? Like I'm just gonna throw away a whole last year of like doing something, but um, I don't. I just don't want to give it like any more like make it such a thing. As I think we both talked about that. Like, how cool would it be where drinking is not even like it's like, well, are you or aren't you? Is alcohol going to be there when we go to this get together, or is it not going to be there? Like, or we're
Why is
going
that
out to a
like, why is
restaurant,
that one
like,
of the things that people automatically just want to know? So like, are you quitting forever, or like, are you ever gonna have it? It's like
yeah, it like why is it
people
such
just
a
want to know,
thing?
like, are you gonna
Like,
do it or not?
yeah, it's like such a thing, and like I want to get to a place where I think what did I compare it to? Like, like asparagus. Like, I'm not anti asparagus. I guess if you make it right, I'll eat it. If you put some bacon on it, I'll eat some asparagus. But like, if you're gonna be like, just to let you know, there's gonna be asparagus at this party. Like, oh, well, okay, well
Okay.
that's cool. Maybe I'll have some. I don't know. Like, it's not like to
Is
make it
it
where it's
breaded or
not.
not
Yeah,
breaded?
right.
Because that might determine whether I might have it or not.
To make it to where it's just not a thing. But I guess again, when something's a part of your life for so long, it'll always be a
Mm-hmm.
thing. But I would really, my I guess challenge is to get to a point in my life where it's not. Where it's just like I don't really care. It's not that
Mm-hmm.
big of a thing. But like you said, and like we discussed, because it's such a big part of our culture, our society, it is. Like when you tell someone I don't drink. It's like that movie we watched. Like I don't drink. Why? What happened in your life?
Mm.
What's wrong? Why don't you drink? Give me the reason why you don't drink. Like I don't know. Like this again. It's like if someone said like I don't do heroin, they're not going to be like, well, why? Why don't you do heroin? I don't know. I just don't
Yeah.
do it. Like I mean, what? So I guess that's
Yeah.
why it becomes such like a hard thing to do or to make it not a thing in your life, especially if you were known as someone that always drank and
I
people
was
know us
gonna
like
say
that.
that. I
Like,
think in to everybody else's defense of why they ask us and why they're so curious if we're gonna ever do this or not,
it's because they're used to us like
because
that.
it has been part of our identity for so long. And most of our friendships, I want to say about 90% of them, were based on like
Yeah.
drinking activities. Our social circle revolved around drinking. So, in their defense, I understand why they would be curious, because all they've ever known of us is, us being the ones to either have get-togethers, or be the one of the ones that drank the most when we would go out. So it's like,
Yeah.
it's understandable, and I think it's as much as of an adjustment it was for us, it has to be an adjustment for people that have known us for so long.
Yeah.
And they had the I guess the security of knowing that if they invited us, we were gonna drink, and we were fun, and I get it. I get it. It's probably an adjustment for our friendship, as much as it was for us, as as a couple, as
Yeah.
individuals. Like, I understand that, but I think a lot of times people feel that, if you're not drinking anymore, then you're not going to be the person that you were before.
Yeah.
And to an extent, they're right, because we're definitely there. I mean, before we would go out, and we would be out to like 1, 2, 3 in the morning. I mean, that's just because we wouldn't stop drinking until we knew we had no other choice but to stop drinking.
Yeah.
So nowadays we're lucky if we stay out past
I was just going
10
to
or
say,
11.
there's no physical amount of money on this earth that's going to keep me up that late.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, so I get it, but at the end of the day, that's for people to to deal with their own feelings about how they
Yeah.
feel about us not drinking anymore. But I do I do understand why this can affect your outside relationships. And I think that's one of the things that we discovered, throughout this year of sobriety, that this just, it's anytime someone goes through a transformation, or just a major change, it doesn't stop with you. Like, it has a ripple effect.
Yeah.
You do begin to either affect other people or influence other people, and it can either make or break the relationship,
Yeah.
or the friendship. So it's understandable why people might want to know what's the future holds for us. But that's a very difficult question to answer, because I mean, as far as we know, I mean, I'll speak for myself. Like, I don't see a reason why I need to drink. Like I told you earlier this week, before I would find any excuse to drink. Now
Right.
I can't find a reason to do it. I really, really can. And I don't say this to be like, oh my God, like I discovered the secret to, joy in life. Like, no, it's not that. I mean, to say that I don't have moments where I don't miss it, like that would be a lie. But I can miss something, but it doesn't mean that I'm going to go back to it.
Yeah.
I mean, you can miss a shitty relationship, right? But you're not going to go back to it. Like, and that's kind of how I feel about it, where it's just, it had its fun moments. I had, I had moments where I did have good times, and, not every experience with drinking was shitty. Like, there was some great times, but I understand what comes along with
Yeah,
it. So,
exactly.
it's a very, I don't know. I think I would need a really good reason.
Plus,
and I can't find it.
Yeah. And plus too, like we said, I mean, you said looking for a reason, but there's been, I mean, how many get-togethers with family, or parties with friends, or going on vacation, or going to a theme park, or going to a concert that I have done while drinking.
Mm-hmm.
So I have like a list. If I did list of things I've done while drinking versus list of things I've done without drinking, it's very lopsided.
Yeah.
So I think, again, going back to just the curiosity of things, and we both have said that, like, we want to like have more experiences sober. We haven't really done much. Like, we've kind of been in this cocoon for this last year. One, because that was made it easier to not drink. Just don't put yourself around it. But two, like, and we've said, like, we moved to a new city, and like it's just been, we don't really know anyone out here. And,
Mm-hmm.
we've gone out and stuff with the kids and gone to dinners and things like that. But there just hasn't been things that we've gone to. So, like, there's that reason too. But, like, now that we're kind of out of this year cocoon, and our wings have sprouted, we want to, like, do more things. We want to take,
Yeah.
like, well, we did go on a trip. We did we took the kids and stuff to Montana and
Mm-hmm.
stuff. But, like, to go do something us, like, I don't know, take a cruise or go on a vacation, or have more get-togethers with friends and family now that we don't drink, to see what that is. Like, honestly, I mean, it really is sad to say, like, I think, the relationships I have with, I mean, well, friends is one thing, but, like, even my family, like cousins and stuff, like, to hang out with them sober and stuff, like, I really haven't before. I mean, it's been times, but most of the time we've always done stuff has been drinking. So, yeah, like, again, like, I'm not even looking for reasons to, oh, this is a special occasion, so I want to drink. Like, I want to kind of have a special occasion sober and see,
Mm-hmm.
just to have that experience. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, and I think going back to what you said about, like, you know, for other people, like being around other people when you're not a drinker, um, we didn't do this, or at least for myself, like, I didn't do this. I didn't, stop drinking because I'm like, I'm gonna stop drinking and inspire people, or I'm gonna stop drinking and, like, you know, uh, shame or guilt people into doing it too.
Yeah.
Like, there was no reasons. And the same thing with, like, wanting to be healthier and losing weight and working out. Like, I'm doing this for me. Like, I'm not doing it to impress anyone else. I mean, there's always the selfish thing of, like, how we talked about, like,
Yeah.
we always feel guilty. Like, is it bad that, like, I enjoy, if I'm getting, like, fitter? Like, no, like, that's just a part of it. Like, it's kind
Mm.
of benefits you get to reap for yourself. Like, you feel better. But, like, yeah, like, I didn't do any of this to be an inspiration, or well, maybe to my children, but, like, when it comes to other, like, friends and stuff and family, like, I'm not trying to do it like, oh, I'm better than you, or look what I can do and look what you haven't done. Like, none of that. But it's just upsetting because, and I say this because I used to be that when I was, like, heavier and I drank and just lived an unhealthy lifestyle. I kind of tended to want to not be around, like, fit
Mm-hmm.
people or people that didn't drink. And the reason for it was because, again, when you see it in front of you, there's no way, and I don't care how much you say, like, I love being who I am and I don't care. We all feel it. We all
Yeah.
feel it when we look in the mirror. We all feel it when we wake up in the morning and it's just, like, fucking hard to just breathe. And it's like, yeah, we don't want to be like that, no matter how much you say you do. And this is coming again from someone that was unhealthy for the majority of their life. You just feel that when you're around someone, and it's kind of like, well, fuck, get away from me, dude, because now I have to think about my life, and I have to think, well,
Mm.
why am I not doing that, and why shouldn't I try that? So I think it's understandable that people kind of tend to just, like, oh, we're gonna go out, like, let me get you a drink, like, oh, I don't drink, like, oh, because now it makes them like, well, shit, can I drink? Like, now it's awkward. Like,
Yeah.
now I'm the only one drinking. I guess I'm the drunk, huh?
Yeah.
And it's like, you just feel like it. And so it does suck. And I get that. But again, I think it just comes to, even though like I said, we didn't start out to try and, like, inspire people or make people think twice about drinking, but the reason why we do this podcast, the reason why we wanted to just tell our story is, like, because we've heard so many people. We've gone down, like, the rabbit hole of YouTube and stuff, of listening to sobriety stories
Mm-hmm.
and stuff. And it's just like, you can't help but just, like, damn, that sounds cool. Like, that sounds interesting. Like, and, like, I kept, saying, like, I wanted to take this 1 year to give myself just the opportunity to see, who am
Mm-hmm.
I? What would I feel like? What would it be like if I did 1 year without alcohol in my system? Because I've had alcohol in my system since, like, 16. So why not? Like, why not just try it? And I think, like I said, a lot of the times, people, it's like, you're not tricking anyone, but by making someone do, like, a challenge, like, do a 3 month challenge, or do a year challenge, and no one's gonna do anything. You can drink immediately as soon as it's done. The trick is, or the joke is, that 9 times out of ten,
Mm-hmm.
after that year, you just ultimately don't want to do it. Like, it's like when you're a sugar addict. You eat sugar, you eat sugar, you eat sugar. Like, I'm addicted to sugar. Like, dude, trust me, if you stop for a month, your body just realigns, and then the signals, the cravings, it goes away. It
Mm-hmm.
really does go away. And I never thought wanting to drink, desire would ever go away. And it kind of
Well, and
did.
I was gonna say that, I agree with you. My initial reason for starting this was not to eventually, go towards like sobriety. It wasn't like sobriety was never, it
Like
was never on the table.
more a slow down
It
of
was
drinking.
this whole journey started because of health.
Hmm.
I felt like shit. I couldn't seem to, maintain my weight loss. Like, I just knew like something needed to change. But my goal was to get through the year and then, quote unquote, have a healthy relationship with alcohol. So that was my goal. That was the whole reason for the start of this journey. So I get, why people, because I presented it that way, why people would be like, well, oh, okay, cool. So you guys can drink again, right? And I understand that even though my the whole beginning of this journey wasn't to quit drinking,
Hmm.
there is something, like you said, about removing something for a certain amount of time to where you really start to question why you even did it in the first place.
Yeah.
Like, and
Breaking a habit.
yeah, you begin to break a habit, and and I'll say this really quick, and I think maybe was one of the reasons why I was a little nervous about getting to the end of the year, because the only thing I had to go off of was 75 hard. Like, the only other challenge that I had ever done that was really, really difficult was 75 hard. And I just remember counting down the days to like the 76th day where I could drink again.
Yeah.
And that's all I really had to go off of. So that was one of the reasons why I didn't want to jump on another challenge, because I felt like we were just in this little cocoon. And then, like, once you were out of it, like, because of what we did with 75 hard, we immediately started drinking again.
Like, if you put an end date on it, you're just working to the end date.
Yeah, like, I'm just like holding my breath until that last day, and I didn't want that anymore. I didn't want this, whatever, however long this challenge was going to be, to become like my little shell, like. And I think that's one of the reasons why I was so nervous, because I just felt like I don't want this just to be another challenge. I don't want this just to be another thing that I get to just check off and just be like, okay, I did it. Cool. That was awesome. I knew that because of the changes that I had seen physically, mentally, emotionally, even spiritually, like, I knew that this is something that I wanted to continue and I wanted to keep going. And again, like, it wasn't about sobriety, like, it was about health, like, it was about what it was doing to me internally and, like, physically, emotionally, like, all of it. It was way more than just about, having the flex of saying I've been sober. Like, it was about, just what I felt it had done for me, personally. And I think, yes, again, we didn't start this to like inspire other people. It was because I think for me, I was desperate. Like, I was just like, I'm tired of feeling like shit. But it does have, an effect on people.
Yeah.
It does, either it will make them question themselves, or it will inspire them to, to see if people like us can do it. Like, dude, anyone can do it. Like,
Right.
and, and I don't say like anyone, like, it is very difficult. Like, it's it's a it's a very hard commitment, but it's worth it.
Yeah. Well, and I admitted to you too, like, that when, you had told me, like, I'm going to take a year off of drinking, you know, it was like, I didn't want to do it. And I told you, I was literally
Yeah.
just being a good husband. I was being a supportive husband. I wasn't gonna make you go through, because I was just like, in the back of my head was like, shit, that's freaking hard. Like, dude, 30 days, like seven. Because I
Yeah.
went back to 75 hard. I was like, 75 hard was rough. Like, even if 75 hard just consisted of not drinking for 75 days and not even forget like the working out and the reading and the walking and all that. Like, if it was just don't drink for 75 days, it would be like a challenge. And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, and you want to go a year, like, yeah, that's crazy. So I didn't want you to do that alone. But I didn't want to stop drinking. And you, like we talked, or you had mentioned, you had already, months leading up to that was not feeling it. Like, the alcohol
But I
really,
still didn't want to stop drinking.
well, I didn't
I
even
felt
want
like
to
I
take,
needed to,
yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't,
I know you felt very different about
yeah,
it.
I didn't feel
Yeah.
like I needed to. I didn't feel like I wanted to. I didn't feel like I even wanted to take a year or anything. It was just like, why? Like, I'm not an alcoholic. Like, it doesn't, like, this is just how normal people drink. Like, I don't want it. Because to me, alcohol was just, it represented fun. It represented letting loose. It represented
Mm-hmm.
everything. We've talked about, so much about who it made me feel I was. So yeah, but again, I didn't want to do it, but it goes to show that by doing it, even if you're like forced or you're doing it for a reason, not even for yourself or whatever, something happens. It's just called breaking. Like, a habit is a habit. Like, you
Mm-hmm.
read Atomic Habits or all the books on it. It's science. It's like psychology. It is like, if you do something for a certain amount of time and to like actively and consciously try to change your habit, you will do it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that's how that works. So by removing something from your life, like, again, your body just, like, it's constantly realigning and changing, and like
Mm-hmm.
your addictions and your desires, if you remove it, you won't want it. Like, it'll still be there, of course, but it won't be like how it was.
Yeah.
Because like before, we wouldn't be able to go like a week or two without like, damn, it's been like, dude, we haven't gone out
Yeah.
in 2 weeks. Like, we haven't drank.
We
Like,
just
that's
started to
crazy.
feel that, that itch of like,
Yeah.
okay, well, it's been 2 weeks. Like, come on.
Yeah. Like, we got to
That's
go out.
come on.
Let's go get a drink.
We've
Like,
deprived ourselves enough.
mm-hmm.
And it's, it is. It's it our bodies and our minds are so smart, and they know, that if you give it, I don't know, maybe two, like we said, 2 or 3 weeks where we didn't drink, and like, okay, we've gone this far, but come on, come on, we can't go that long without it, and again, I think that's why it was so important for us to do something that we've never ever done.
Yeah.
The time of, a whole year, I think it's like, it's really, I don't know, it says a lot. Like a year, it's like a whole, what, how I forgot how many times the earth goes around the, I forgot what they call it.
365.
Yeah, but anyways, I'm not gonna try. Like, it just, it's a whole year that you've gone through, a whole year of like every 365 days of just like really denying yourself something that you've
Yeah.
given it as often as you did before. Like, there's something about that I think it does something to your brain. That it's so empowering that it makes you start believing like, I can do anything then. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
anything is possible at this point. And it really is true, because yeah, like, and again, it's nothing against anyone that has done 75 hard or anyone that has done a 90-day challenge. Like, there is power in any challenge, I truly believe, but there is something about a year that does, you go through a lot of different emotions, you go through a lot of different things, you go through holidays, you go through, every single holiday of the year, every birthday that you have in the year, like, you go through all of it.
Yeah.
And you start to think differently, and you start to see things in a different light.
Yeah.
Once you've experienced a whole year, like, there's not one event that you have not, that you usually go through throughout the year that you didn't like overcome.
Yeah.
And there is something about that.
Well, we talked about that because we started it obviously, in September last year, and we were saying like, the hardest things is going to be this holidays coming up,
Mm-hmm.
because then right around the holidays is our birthdays. And it was just like, we always go to Vegas for around that time. And then we got past the holidays and we got past the birthday and we were like, okay, we made it. What's next? And it was just like, even we even joked. We are just like, we never even really drank on St. Patrick's Day. We were just like, all right, St. Patrick's Day is coming up. Like, we didn't even drink before, but because we're not drinking, it is the thing now. But it's just like, like then it was like summer. Like I really began to stress out, because it was like summer to me just means like anytime we were barbecue,
Mm-hmm.
anytime I put freaking charcoal or I light up the propane and I'm grilling, I have to have beer. Like, it just, that is the thing. You have to drink a beer when you're barbecuing. I think
Mm-hmm.
it's in the Bible, but like, you have to do it. So yeah, I knew summer was gonna be rough, like, and especially because like from last year, like because we had the pool and it was just like, all of that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
summer to me just means drinking and having fun. So but then summer came and went, and it's, like, again, and I think we shared, kind of leaves a good segue, but we did a little thing where Jess and I shared some of the, I guess you could say, takeaways or realizations that we've had over this last year from doing this challenge, and how we feel now and how we felt then and all of that. But one of the things that I did share with you was, like you mentioned, that confidence, that pride.
Mm-hmm.
And that was when I think the first thing I had put down. Because again, like, when you accomplish something, when you do something, when you do a challenge and you follow it through and you do it, um, and it could be anything. It could be something physical. It could be something, academic. Like, you go get your degree, you graduate. When you graduated and everything, like, it was like, like they always say, like, no one can ever take that away from you. You
Mm-hmm.
did that. Um, I think with this challenge, again, because I had told you when we first started it, it was almost like in the back of my head, like, I don't even really think we're gonna do it, because, like I said, taking 1 month off of drinking was like, okay, well, who's gonna do that? Like, I can't, I'm not gonna do that unless you put me in jail, I guess, maybe. But so yeah, a year looked like, I don't know. To me, it felt like if I were to go to the base of Mount Everest and look up and like, okay, we're gonna climb over this. Like, that's what it felt like. Like, it's not possible. I'm not gonna be able to do this. So getting through it, it's just sort of like a, holy shit, you did that, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's like, running a mile or whatever, like when you do a lap in a pool and you look back and like the ground that you covered, like, you did that, like, you
Mm-hmm.
ran that, you swam that. So yeah, looking back on the year was just like, I really did do it. And I thought about all the months and like this and the different talks we had and like different conversations of like when it felt easy and we're like, oh, this is great. And then the conversations we had where it's just like, yeah, I'm feeling it this week. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, this is getting rough. And then it going back to like, no, I feel better now. I feel better. That went away, and then it come back. So it was just like literally the roller coaster of the year of like not drinking, all those memories kind of coming back. But then like now just feeling like, yeah, like I really did that. Like, and it everything just trickles down. Everything kind of boils over to other areas in your life where you begin to feel more. I feel more confident in just like my health journey with weight loss, with like lifting weights and getting stronger, which then kind of trickles over into like, feeling more confident in wanting to, assert myself into doing things that I haven't done before. And like, so like it really is an empowering thing, and I really
Mm-hmm.
do feel empowered having, done that or having accomplished it now. So
Yeah. No, definitely. So I want to kind of. I know you started your list. We had done a recording just for us and for us to share just our own personal experiences. As individuals, as a couple. Um, and we're not going to share all of them today, but I want to share at least our top three that we experienced
yeah,
during this year.
we recorded it, but I think, like you said, that was just for us. I think that goes into
Yeah.
like our private collection that we also keep with the other private collection videos.
Shut up. One of the reasons why I wanted us to record it because I felt like it was important to say a lot of these things out loud to ourselves and to one another because sometimes we don't realize the impact of something until we hear it. You know, we
Yeah.
hear it and we process it and we internalize it, because I think what we've gone through this year, and there wasn't, I want to be real and honest, it wasn't all good. Like,
The
I
year?
mean, it was, yeah, like it was good. Looking back on it, everything was was good in the sense where like we learned from it, we grew from it. Um, but I mean, it wasn't good, like it didn't feel good. A lot of the things that we experienced were difficult truths that we had to face, changes we needed to make. I mean, I feel like we're still going through a lot of things. We're still going through a lot of changes.
For sure.
And I guess I should rephrase that. It's not that it wasn't good, it just it didn't feel good. And some of it felt scary, and some of it felt like, oh no, we might not make it out of this, like as a couple. Like,
But I feel like if you don't feel that, then what you're doing, either you're not doing it right or it's not as
yeah,
important. Like, important changes need to feel scary and like
yeah.
not good and like this hurts mentally
Mm-hmm.
and physically. Like, those are the impactful changes.
Yeah. And some of the things weren't, again, didn't feel good because it's a lot of things that we had been neglecting for the last, I mean, you and I had been together for 18, 19
Wow.
years now. I mean, we've been married for 14 years, but we've been together for
17.
17 years. Okay. Um, Normally it's the
I know. It's
right. I
sad.
know usually the girls remember, but anyways, a lot of things that we had been neglecting
Yeah.
for a pretty good amount of
And
time.
yeah, really quick, I was going to say that too because you mentioned like the reasons why doing it, but like if you're doing it for a physical for physical change, like I want to, I know alcohol isn't allowing me to lose weight and everything. What you realize is that, let's say you may have started doing it for the physical, how much, like, you don't realize that you're doing it for your mental and emotional, and
Yeah,
you don't think that's going to happen or realize it until that like distraction of alcohol is gone, where all those things that you were pushing down and running from really do kind of come up, you
yeah. I
know.
felt like the physical changes, even though that was our whole reason for it, I think it ended up being just like kind of just the icing on the cake, but it
Yeah.
wasn't. It wasn't the cake,
No,
like it
yeah.
wasn't it. Like the cake was us dealing with a lot of the internal
Yeah.
things that needed to be dealt with, our relationship, like, just our dynamic of how we handled things, how we did things as a couple, like
You make a lot
as
of,
individuals, like, yeah, you
yeah.
realize like, holy shit, my foundation was awful,
Yeah, you
like it
realize the
was super
person
shaky.
that you are, like, and again, you like maybe like past traumas and things, like you're just like, oh, that's
Yeah.
right. Like, and it's just, you never realized it before. And I mean, I don't know, I can't like 100% say like the reason why I didn't realize that about myself was because I drank. Like, I don't know. But I mean, unless it's just a big coincidence, when I removed alcohol, I began to make more realization. I guess because it's like,
Mm-hmm.
you spend more you're not wasting time going out and drinking and stuff, like you have more time to just self-reflect
Mm-hmm.
and have conversations like this and stay home and like let's just talk, and like not that you even like design a time like we're going to talk about our emotions, it just comes up because we're
It's
just together, like
you're no longer running away from
yeah.
everything. And I don't have to say this because people say it, I've said it. When you want to shut down and you want to just like, I don't want to deal with this, I don't want to deal with work, I don't want to deal with family, I don't want to deal with stress, I just need a drink. And you're literally saying it
I
out
don't
loud.
want to deal
I
with those
don't
things.
want to deal with it. And it's like, it's so silly of us to think that all of those things are just gonna like fade away and then just go off into the sun, what every time we drink.
Yeah,
Like, no, they don't. They just pile up.
not only are you not dealing with it, but you're probably making it worse
Oh,
with the
you're just
drinking,
piling it
like
up. And then, once you stop drinking, and I do believe this is a lot of the reasons why people don't stop, because they know the shit show they gotta face.
yeah.
And this is why I say, like, not all of it is good. Your
Yeah.
problems don't just disappear once you stop. Like, if anything, they get bigger.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. That's called growing up. That's called maturing. That's called, developing some emotional awareness and maturity. And you have to, at some point, you have to
Yeah.
face it. I know a lot of older individuals that still don't know how to handle their emotions. I know a lot of
Well,
people in their 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s that are still throw tantrums. And it's like, come on, like, and why is that? Because, and you don't even have to be a drinker. That's just someone that hides their emotions in other
well,
places.
like our
It's not
episode,
just alcohol, right?
emotionally immature.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't posted that yet, but yeah, so anyways, okay, I digress. I don't want to get into that. But so I one of the things that I realized that I disliked about drinking, uh and I guess this kind of goes with what I was saying. I always felt disconnected. I always felt like I couldn't fully engage in whatever I was doing or in my relationships, my friendships. I just felt like all I wanted was connection. I'm someone that truly values relationships, that values friendships. And unfortunately, a lot of the friendships that I built were around drinking.
Mm.
And I just remember always going to parties or going to get togethers and having just the most shallow conversations, the most superficial conversations, and just feeling completely empty and depleted after I left, and it's sad because I know that all I wanted was to have real connection with people. And anytime I drank, I just felt the complete opposite of it, and even in our relationship, I know, we used to love our date nights and go out and have a drink and sit at the bar and we would talk, but it was just not that we didn't have good conversations. I think we've always had good conversations, but I feel like nothing really stuck because we just were drunk.
Yeah. Yeah, it started as a good conversation, like,
Yeah.
actually meaningful and thoughtful, and then it just
Yeah.
slowly progressed into just
It just,
blabbering.
yeah. And then it just faded into something that, unfortunately didn't have anything like to stick to
Yeah.
because we either would forget what we talked about or we would just start talking about something completely stupid. But I hungered for connection and I always have. I was raised as the only child for 10 years before my brother showed up, and I think I've always hungered for that connection. But alcohol, it makes you feel like you are going to have that, and it's like, cool, we're all going to get together and we're going to drink and we're going to do, whatever, like, but no one is truly present when they're drinking.
Yeah.
Like, they're just not. I mean, they're just all over the place.
And that's the lie that that I told you, where it's like, alcohol is marketed and promoted as like this uniter, like we're having a party, sports get together, celebrate an anniversary, a birthday, whatever, holidays. Let's connect by drinking. And alcohol, the truth is that all it does is make you feel more disconnected.
Yeah.
It literally doesn't allow you to connect with someone because you are impaired. But it's not known as that. It's not, like I said, it's not marketed as that. It's this like uniter, and it's not.
Yeah, and unfortunately, people that do try to connect when they're drinking, they're known as
Well,
the emotional drunks, right?
that was, I mean, for sure me. That was the only time I was able to try and like connect with someone, or like, express how I was feeling. And again, like we said
Yeah.
before, it's like the worst time that you could try to express how you've been feeling is when you're drunk, because it's
Yeah.
not going to be a
And
good thing.
all it is, it's just a bunch of messy,
Yeah.
like word vomit. And yeah, but that is definitely one of the things that I really, I hated about drinking, and just the small talk and just, oh my God, it really, and I talked about this when you and I were sharing, our points, but I hate awkward silence. And I think that's one of the things that I realized, that I would just feel so pressured to like fill in, any awkward silence with just a bunch of just, bullshit noise. And that just made me feel even more just empty. And I realized that am never going to gain real connection if I continue these type of friendships that are just revolved around drinking.
Yeah.
I'm never going to have that. I've had friends that I've been with, friends with for years, and I can't really say that I've truly made, like real intimate connections with them, because most of the time we were just drinking. It's probably been maybe a handful where I can say like I truly know them. But unfortunately, most of them I don't.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was one of my points that I felt was one of the most impactful things that being sober showed me.
Yeah.
Just how disconnected I felt.
Yeah, I mean the disconnection too, like it we related in the thing that I share where and I'll combine because it was like the same thing, but I was just saying like not feeling like a prisoner or not feeling distracted in both like my marriage and in my life because I just felt like alcohol not only did it like make me feel disconnected, but like it just distracted me from what's like my actual life. Like I wasn't able to ever be present because then we said it before with alcohol and drinking when you love to drink, when you love to party and drink and be in that environment, it's not even just the time that you're doing it, it's the time that you're thinking about doing it, which for me that literally consumed my whole 7 days because it was like living for the weekend. Like I can't freaking wait till Friday night. And then sometimes we would even, whatever, if we're having family or friends Saturday and then if it's football season shit on Sunday. So it's like a 3 day of just like I get to drink and have fun and it's so great. But like Monday through Thursday, I'm not even present. I'm just like going through the motions of work and talking to you and talking to the kids and all this stuff. But I'm really just thinking about like, isn't it Friday yet? Like, can we go drink yet? Like, so removing that, it really did just kind of free me from like, my mind constantly racing and just revolving around alcohol. And like we said, when you remove that distraction, what kind of takes it over? Well, your life. And like people are like, that's why I don't want to drink because like fucking life's hard and I have to then think about like this. I actually have to be in a marriage and like talk about our feelings and do the things and like I really have to raise my kids and like have to hear their problems and help them. And it's just like, yeah, that's life. Like you don't have to do that stuff. You get to do that stuff.
You get
And
to do it. That's good.
all alcohol does is just takes that away from you. It literally, I mean, sounds dramatic as shit, but it robs you of your life. And that is such a thing now. Being sober, that is so frustrating when like we talked about it. If I see like a commercial for alcohol, I get fucking mad because I'm just like, oh my God, look, why do they make the people look so happy? They're just like, ah, yes, and like cheering and just hugging and drinking. It's just like,
And
they're
let's be real,
lying
that's
to
the
you.
first 5 minutes of it.
Yes.
Show
Oh yeah.
the rest of the fucking night.
Exactly.
Let's show the rest of the night.
It
How
shows
many
when they
couples are
get to the
arguing?
bar.
How many people are arguing? How many people are talking shit about each other?
Exactly.
Like,
or let's go to them vomiting, at night or the next morning when they're hungover and like they don't. It's very very frustrating, and it gets even like I said, it gets more frustrating when I hear people that are just like, and I don't get mad because again, it's only a year ago that I was them where it's just like, I'll never stop drinking. Like, I don't care. I know it's bad. I know it's poison, but this is my life and I love it. I love the feeling and I'm just not going to let it go. It's frustrating, but it's also like heartbreaking because it makes me think about myself and how I used to be. But then it's like, you just want to like get them and like, dude, just like, just stop. Just give yourself a year. Trust me, you won't think like that. But it's everyone's life and it's everyone's decision and choice. But I think I just get more upset and angry, just of how like we as people and society have allowed the alcohol company to just like fucking literally like they just sit and laugh like we're just gonna literally keep pushing this poison on them and they're gonna keep drinking it like it doesn't matter.
I think a lot of it makes I feel what you're saying with like feeling angry. I think a lot of it is it's more frustration because we love our family, we love our friends, and we want better for them. And I understand now, and again, like you said, this is everyone is in their own journey. And I know that it seems very, very difficult to believe that you could actually have a good time without alcohol. And I know
Yeah,
that,
I wouldn't have believed you before.
yeah, I get it and I understand. And to be fair, there is some things that we haven't experienced yet. There's a lot of firsts we've yet to experience, but I have enough confidence in me to say that I'm willing to try to have fun. I mean, just try it. The worst thing that could happen is you realize that maybe you didn't have fun because you don't want to do that shit anymore.
Yeah, right.
Maybe it's you just did it because you felt like you just had to because it's what you always did. But I get it. You do feel some anger, but I think sometimes it's just more frustration and heartbreak because we want better.
Yeah.
We want better for our families, we want better for our friendships, and we know that being sober is better. And I know it sounds just so unbelievable, but it's true. It truly is better in so many ways. And okay, so really quick, I want to share my second point because it kind of goes along with what you were saying. And my second point, what I just liked about drinking was that I wasted a lot of time, money, and energy. I feel that, you know, I'll touch on the money really quick because I think of how much we spent on not only the activities that we went to go do just so we can drink, but obviously on top of that, the drinking was just, it was unbelievable how we justified, spending that amount of money and the times that we did it, and I just remember always feeling like, this doesn't feel right. Like I shouldn't be okay with spending money that I know should be going somewhere else, and for many, many years that really it really affected me. And I think it made me feel like, I don't know, like just alcohol had that much power to where I allowed it to put me in a situation where financially we started struggling.
Yeah, many times.
And I want to say this because some people, I mean, whether maybe you are financially stable and you can afford to go out and have, I don't know how many drinks you can afford, but I feel like a lot of times we sit here like, well, I don't have a drinking problem. I don't have to stop drinking. Okay, fine. Let's just say you're not addicted to it. We weren't physically addicted to it. However, we allowed alcohol to put us in situations that were financially affecting us, that were affecting us as a couple, maybe start affecting our health. Like, people always want to wait, I'll stop drinking when it turns into a problem.
But they don't see that the problem's already occurring all around them.
Exactly. And I just think to myself, well, I mean, maybe you don't have to ask yourself whether you're an alcoholic or not, but how is alcohol serving you?
Yeah.
Because I feel that for me, it caused me to waste a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of energy. And, we talked about it when we did our recording that I remember looking at the clock, every time we would go to the bar and just watching the countdown, okay, cool, it's 10 o'clock. Okay, I still have a few hours to, to keep drinking. Oh shit, it's 11 o'clock. Oh man, it's last call's coming soon. 12 o'clock, shit, last call's gonna, and it's I was just so hyper focused on how much time I had to drink. And never once did I look at my life like that.
No.
Look at the time that was passing. Look at how my kids were just growing up, and I was missing so much time. But yet I count down the time to that clock towards last call, and to think that when you're drinking, time goes by so freaking fast, right? You're just it just goes by and you don't realize it. You are now freaking 3-4 hours at the bar, probably down about $100 to $120.
Yeah.
So not only is it wasting your time, but it's also taking your money. And I just think about that and I'm like, man, we were, if I think where we were financially back then, we were a lot more, I mean, we should have been a lot more stable, but yet we had nothing to show for it.
Yeah.
Like nothing. And unfortunately, we let many years pass like that. And now we're not where we were then financially, but I feel like in some way we're in a better position now. I don't know how
I know,
we
right?
are. But a lot of it I do feel it's because we cut out that part of our life. A year of not drinking, it's paid off in many ways. We've gained time, we've gained money, we've gained health. Like there's a lot of things that we gained just because we made a small sacrifice.
Right.
And that's all it is. It's a small sacrifice that a lot of people are just they don't even want to entertain it. But yet we're so willing to just let time go by wasting it. And this isn't to shame anyone, but it's like, I'm just going to keep it real. That shit's just not good.
Yeah.
I don't care, whatever your reasons are you think you needed. Believe me, you don't.
Yeah.
You don't.
It goes to show like how strong of an attachment, alcohol has on people. It really, it becomes a part of your life. It becomes a part of your identity. Like I know with me, like alcohol represented who I was. It was like a big chunk of who I was, my personality, my ability, or at least what I thought, ability to be funny, ability to be social. Like like I told you, it's like it really is just, if you needed to define what alcohol is, it is a lying poison, because it literally just tells you all of these lies. Like you're better looking when you're drunk, you're funnier when you're drunk, people like you more when you're drunk, you're more confident in yourself, you're more adventurous and courageous when you're drunk. It's like, no, all of those is you're just sloppy, because that's what you are. It's literally freaking beer fest, when the guy thinks he's like dancing and he's like, he looks good, then they show what he really looked like that's what being drunk is. Like you have this delusions of grandeur of like, dude, I was on a good one last night, and everyone, like, I was dancing and everyone was like smiling at me, and it's like, no, they were like, oh, fool, get away, like you're drunk, dude, get away from me. And like that's what being drunk is. But like I said, it's just hard because you get the people, and like I said, it's heartbreaking and frustrating, but I sympathize with them because I was just there. That attachment's hard, and it really does take, I mean, we always say it and it sounds dramatic, but it really is true. Like you do have to take a leap of faith in when it comes to like doing something that you're so, again, attached to. It's hard to like, I always, that was perfect. It brings up what I said. To me, it felt, giving up alcohol felt like Spider-Man when he became Venom, and he realized, like, I cannot be Venom anymore. And the scene where he's literally trying to rip that tar or the substance off of his body, and it's just like attaching back to him. That's what alcohol is. It's fighting against you, because it's like, no, I won't let you go. Like, I'm living off of you and I'm making you better, so I'm gonna freaking like attach myself to you. But it really does, it's like, it's almost feels like that. It feels like the physical pain of like getting it out of your system, and then the physical and emotional and mental pain of getting it, like breaking that habit, because ultimately you want to keep it. You want that addiction.
I was going to say, it all starts with you giving up power. I mean, I think a lot of what we say, I need to have a drink, I need this to be this, or it's like,
never I
do you
want.
realize what you're saying? Like, you need is like you're causing your brain to start to believe like, oh yeah, I do.
Words are powerful.
Words are powerful, right? And like, our brain doesn't know between truth and lie. It just responds to what you're saying, right? Like, it's just gonna reinforce that belief that you have. And yeah, the more you entertain it, it's like I go back to what you were saying about like Spider-Man. What happens when he starts to entertain like the dark side of
Yeah,
himself,
he
right?
really
It's
likes
just
it. He enjoys
he's just
it.
like, oh shit, oh yeah, this does feel good. And it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, but then what happens when you start to lose
It
control?
begins to take over,
Then
and
it
then
just
yeah.
takes over. And it's like we reinforce this like belief because why? Because we saw it growing up, because society tells us that's what we need to do, because everywhere you fucking go, people are just giving you drinks, throwing alcohol, questioning why don't you drink? Like,
Yeah.
so then we feel like, well, everybody else is doing it, so why? It must be okay. Like, but you know, deep down inside, everyone knows. I have heard so many people like, yeah, I should probably slow down. Yeah, I should probably do this. Like, you should. Yeah, you probably should, and you should try it. You know, like, and again, like a lot of the times it's because we need to really be careful the language we use and how much power we allow something to have over us.
Yeah.
And it is, you know, it's very difficult to ignore it. Like our dog right now, she's really
Yeah, it's hard to ignore her
it's hard
barking.
to ignore it, but I just wanted to use that as an example. Like that's what it feels like when you go out. It's
Yeah.
just this like noise in the back
Yeah.
that is just constant, and it takes action
Yeah,
to
to literally build up the ability to just block it out. Like I
yeah,
don't really.
it takes action for you, you know, to make that either go away completely, or like you said, build up enough strength to just say like, I know that's there, but I know what I need to do, and I
Yeah.
know what I have to do, you
Yeah.
know. And it's like it in again weird. And I feel like we even do it sometimes, like we try to tiptoe around this topic, but the truth of the matter is that that shit's poison. It's bad for you. I don't care how you paint it. I don't care if like, well, I have a healthy relationship with it. Like, how healthy is your relationship
Yeah.
really?
Well,
Like,
I
let's
just.
really be real about it, right? Like,
Yeah.
you want to say that, okay, you don't drink all the time, you don't need it, but when you drink, do you and your spouse fight? Do you and your friends fight? You don't have to wait for things to get really bad to do something about them. Um, you know, if you feel like alcohol is affecting you or your relationship or you know your life in any way, you don't have to wait until you're dependent on it fully to do something about it.
Yeah.
And I think again, you know, we tiptoe around this topic a lot just because you don't ever want to make people feel bad. But you know, I've talked about it before. You know, when we were talking, I think we talked about peptides and how people never said anything to us when we were overweight and unhealthy. But yet, once we started losing weight and getting healthy, and people found out that we were, you know, taking peptides, like then they had something to say. All of a sudden, they had something to say about our choices. And it's like, why didn't you say anything when I was overweight and my blood pressure was sky high?
Right.
Like, you know, and again, like I feel like us sharing our experience is you know, it's just a way for us to let people know that there is a better way to deal with life, you know.
Yeah.
Drinking, it's just it's a really big lie, and it only digs your hole deeper. And you know, again, like we don't i I'm honestly really tired of saying it, like, but this isn't to shame anyone, this is just to let people know like what you're doing, the you know, the escape that you think you're finding in alcohol, like it catches up eventually.
Yeah.
It really really does. And you know, we have the power to make a different choice. And is it hard? Hell yeah, it's hard. Are you gonna want to just freaking rip your hair out at some point? Yeah, but that's life.
Yeah.
Like that's just life. Life isn't supposed to be peaches and cream all the time, you know.
Yeah, and I think because when we said that people who whatever the ones that are just like I don't care, I love my drinking and everything, they hear people's sobriety stories or whatever, and they're just like, oh, it's of course they're gonna say, oh, it's just so great, right? Like, when I said, I'm like, I guess it's just this weird conspiracy that everyone who like decided to quit drinking and live a sober life, we all get together and just like, okay, these are the points that we're going to hit. It makes your life better. It makes relationships better. You feel better. Make sure you hit these points. We got to get more. We got to, we got to build this group, like we're, trying to freaking start a cult or whatever. But it's just like, just maybe just saying it. What if they're just telling the truth? Like, what if it just like is something that like everyone feels? It's like, well, why is everyone's story just the same? Why does everyone just feels better? Yeah, because I mean, I don't know. Like in some way, of course, everyone's life is different. The reason why they're like, enjoying this more, enjoying that more, whatever, like is each person's thing. But like the physicality of it, of removing this substance from your body, is only going to benefit you. So everyone, yes, of course, is going to feel better. So yeah, like I mean, we always said, like, even with other episodes, like, we're not trying to make this a sobriety pod, like we're talking about something else, but it just relates back to it because everything that we're talking about usually on this episode is something with like either, like health, which is either physical, mental, or spiritual health. And all of that is affected by alcohol. How you feel emotionally is going to be obviously affected by alcohol. How you feel physically, even spiritually. You can become more connected to yourself, more connected to, your environment. Alcohol will have an effect on all of that. So everything does kind of lead to us saying that because we have just more insight and we've realized more things being of a sober mind that we just didn't realize before. So yeah, like I said, it doesn't. We don't want to come across as like, oh, we're just like, you're just weird, like weird sober people that just, all you want to talk about is how great your life is because you're sober. Like, no, as I don't. But I mean, like I'm gonna be honest. If you ask me, is it better or not? Like, someone just straight said, do you like yourself better drinking or not drinking? I like myself better not drinking. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, what? Why? I have no benefit to lie to you. Like,
and it's just crazy because I feel like people get like, oh, all those sober people, they all say the same thing. Everyone that drinks for the same reason. Stress. You
want to have a good time. I want to let loose a little bit.
I want to let loose. It's like across the board, it's the same thing, right? So it's like, why wouldn't we have similar stories for those that stop drinking?
Yeah,
like, and we have similar stories because our interests were probably very similar before.
Yeah,
so there isn't anything crazy about that. And the benefits of not drinking are probably going to be very similar because we are having a sober experience. Even though we don't technically want to make it about sobriety, but you are sober. So what else? How else would I put that? I know people don't like that word, but it's like, but you're sober.
Exactly. Call it something else, and I don't know.
I know.
I don't know why. Boring. When you said that about reasons why everyone drinks, like I just thought of an idea like almost like an SNL skit. It's like, what if they were just honest with it? And it's just like, whatever, Bud Light or freaking Hennessy, like they're like, drink, like. Do you have childhood trauma you don't want to think about? Are you like not a good person and you don't want to deal with your issues? Grab a beer. Because it's like, those are the real reasons. Like, stop with the bullshit of like, oh, get-togethers for celebrating and like sports and all these things and grab a cold one and blah, blah, blah. Like, all those like things that are just like, that's bullshit, bro. Like, get out of here with that. It ain't like this fun party thing. The reason why people drink is because you don't want to deal with shit. Like you said, I don't want to deal with my kids. I don't want to deal with my wife. I don't want to deal with work. Like, I need a drink. You just say it. Like, I want to run away from my problems. Like, let me run away for a little bit. And like the sad thing, the people are just like, oh, I know that's what I'm doing. I don't care. It's my life. That's what I do. I don't want to deal with this shit. Like, that's sad. Why do you think like that? Like, why?
Those are the scary.
Yeah, that just know. Like, I know. Well, I mean, it's the people that are just like still smoke cigarettes or vape or whatever. Like, I don't care. I know this is causing cancer. Everyone's gonna die, so it doesn't matter. And it's just like that's not a good outlook on life.
It comes down to, and again, like, this isn't. And we talked about this when we were sharing our points. It's not to say that alcoholism or addiction in general isn't a mental illness.
Yeah,
I understand it is. But there's a selfish component about it. There's something very selfish about allowing your addiction to get to that point. Because I do feel that everyone that has gone through addiction in some way has had a moment of clarity. I believe that. I believe everyone hits that fork in the road where you have a choice. And people like that, because I've had family that has passed from alcoholism, and they said those very words. I don't care. This is my life. This is how I am. And I just remember thinking, like, yes, this is how you are, but do you know how it is affecting everyone else around you? Do you have any regards to how your family is going to feel if you actually pass from this? Like, how do you feel other people feel when you are drunk and you are being hurtful and you're saying things that are hurting other people, or just even just watching you, witnessing you giving, just throwing your life away? There's something very, very selfish about that. And I do feel that everyone has a point in their life where they have to stop and ask themselves, do I want to continue this? And a lot of them just ignore the red flags because they've just given into that part of them. And yeah, is that different from someone that just like, well, I need to have a drink, to relax? Like, yes and no, because I feel like, again, it comes down to what I said, giving something so much power. You don't know when it can have the power to all of a sudden just consume you. And I feel like we had moments like that where we allowed it to just overtake us.
Yeah.
We allowed it to financially really hit us. We allowed it to take us, take our time, to rob us of many, many experiences. We allowed all of this, all of it. So what's to say that we weren't going to have, if we would have never stopped doing this and we would have never given into this 1 year of, not drinking? We don't, I mean, how, with us moving here, how would we have dealt with it? What would we have done, right? Like, because it was very difficult, it was very stressful. We went through so much in this 1 year, just obviously with the changes, with the move, our relationship. I can't tell you if we were still drinking how we would have dealt with it. I don't know whether we would have gotten deeper into it, or
we would have drank more.
We would have, right? Like, we would have drank probably at home more than we ever have because we couldn't really go out. So then now we're drinking at home. And I'm just saying, like, you never know how much something is going to start to take over your life.
Yeah.
And we do have a responsibility to ask ourselves and really question what we're doing, why we're doing it, and how much we're allowing this to affect us. Not just us, but as, also as parents, as friends, as family, like as a spouse, like, how much are we allowing this to mold us?
And really quick, like, to what you said too, it goes back to like the whole words are powerful. Like, when you say that, like, I just need to take the edge off, right? I'm just stressed. I need a drink. It's like you're buying into the lie that the alcohol companies say, like, oh, take the edge off, grab a drink, go out to the bar, whatever. So you're buying into the lie, but then you're like reinforcing it, and you're causing your own self to where when you do have a drink, because people will be like, you don't understand. When I take that drink, I could literally feel my body calm. It's like, yeah, fool, because you've taught your body and mind to respond to that. Yeah. You can teach your body to do anything. But trust me, if you go 1 month, 2 months, 3 months of telling your body, when I go for a run, when I do something that I like to do, I don't know, if I can like to do puzzles or a crossword or something, you can train your mind to do something and immediately thinks like, I'm not stressed. I'm doing this. I'm not stressed. I'm doing it, and over and over and over. It'll just become natural to where now it's like, yeah, when I feel stressed, I go for a run or I go for a walk even, and I literally feel my body like loosen. It's like, because you've taught yourself. But if you've gone your whole life like, every time I need a drink, I need a drink. And it's like, yeah, when I take the drink, I feel so much better. It's like, yeah, because one, fucking dopamine and everything's going off because you're giving it something. And then two, you've trained your mind to react
Mhm.
to it. So don't think that it's like, well, it is that because that's what it is. Like, no, you allow it and you make it to be that.
It's the power of a habit.
Yeah, and
It's gonna do what you
exactly.
have programmed it to do.
Exactly. And then to what you said in regards to I don't know what you said. I was gonna like segue to what I wanted to say to my last thing that I wanted to bring up my points there. But in regards to not to not doing it for anyone else. Like I had mentioned earlier,
Yeah.
like I didn't start this to inspire anyone. Like I did it out of curiosity of what it was gonna feel like. Um, and I think like the biggest thing that I took away from it was it like really not dawning on me, but like just the realization of like by doing this, what I was doing or I was actively taking a step to better the lives of like my kids and future generations.
Mm-hmm.
And I say this to not be like, monumentally dramatic, but honestly, I mean, it is. And I don't blame my parents and I don't blame my older cousins and uncles and aunts. Like, again, it's generational things. Like, they saw that, their
Mm-hmm.
parents saw that, their older siblings saw whatever. But when you, or I should say myself, actively deciding, like, I'm just not going to drink anymore, I'm not going to make alcohol the norm or the common thing. I can't, being a parent and now being a grandparent, I can't protect the kids their whole life. The only thing that I can do, the only responsibility you have as a parent and as a grandparent is to one, like to provide for your family, to make sure they're safe and that they have everything. And then, but right behind that is to just be an example, like to show your kids, like don't tell your kids how you need to live, show your kids how you need to live. And this isn't like, I will say like, oh, it isn't to shame parents, but like fuck it, it is. Like you, when you became a parent, no one forced you to become a parent. I mean, whatever. There might be circumstances where things happened and you became a parent, but when you do, you take on the responsibility of like I'm no longer living for myself. Like I mean, everyone has to do what they have to do for themselves, but when you're a parent, you just instinctively know, like, I have to take care of this person that I created. And that includes being an example and showing them. And like, I I think what really hurts and what really breaks my heart is just knowing, and again, it's because I didn't know any better, like drinking in front of my kids and, like making it, like telling stories and jokes about how I used to, glamorizing it. Yeah, like I used to drink and blah, 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 and I do this and I used to do that and it was so fun. And man, I got so messed up at this party. And, telling it to our oldest and, like seeing him laugh and like not realizing like his mind was a sponge and thinking like, okay, well he did that. I guess I got to do that. That's life. That's how you have fun. And even when he got old enough, like drinking with him and like getting drunk with him, like drinking at home with him and doing all these things, and it's just like I realize now, like, damn, if I could just go back, like, I wish I would have done this differently. I wish maybe I would have gone sober, 10, 15 years ago while he was still just a kid and show him like, hey, that's not what life's about. Like, you don't need to buy into like drinking to be cool or drinking to have fun. There's another way. So like, I think again, like the biggest thing I'm realizing and taking away from it is that like, it's cool that I'm at least, and I don't know how our kids are going to grow up and what they're going to do and what they're not going to do. But I think the only thing that you can do, again, as a parent, is just to try and plant a seed and see if it grows. And you give the advice and how they're going to take it, they're going to take it. If they choose to drink, they choose to drink. But again, I think if you show them, like I think, and we've said it before, everyone has to kind of go through things. They have to experience it in order to really understand it. But you don't have to experience it for 25 plus years.
Yeah.
Maybe they experience it for 1, 2 times or a year, and they're just like, yeah, you know what? They were right. Like my parents stopped drinking, and they were saying that it was great. I tried it, and it really does make me feel shitty. Like I
Yeah.
guess they're right. Well, I just won't drink,
Mm.
as opposed to like if we didn't and we were drinkers, he maybe doesn't. It's like this makes me feel shitty, but I don't know, my parents are over there. They seem to be having a good time still, and they're in their 40s.
Mm.
Like I guess this is what people do. Like I just need to maybe shake it off, and I'll just keep doing it. So it's like being able to like show them that, I think, really, and then now like again, being a grandparent, like this is kind of like our chance to plant the seed early and
Yeah.
show her that like, hey, grandma and grandpa are like healthy, fit people, and they don't drink. Like maybe that's how you should be. Like
Yeah, and that's why like I've said this before that growing up no one ever told me that alcohol was bad, that drinking
Yeah.
was bad, that that it can possibly lead to alcoholism or addiction or issues. Like no one ever told me that. So
Yeah.
that's why I feel like I'm not going to apologize anymore about calling out alcohol for what it is.
Yeah.
Because as a parent, I have a responsibility. As a grandmother, I have a responsibility. I'm not going to sit here and romanticize something as if it was, the greatest thing ever created. I can't, because I know I've lived on the other side of being someone that actively drank and, really gave it the power to basically ruin my life,
Mm.
and versus now choosing not to drink and seeing how different my life is now. So I have a responsibility to let my children know, like, hey, this was mom when she used to drink. This is mom now, and like we said it before, like the proof is in the pudding. So you're gonna see the different person that I am now, the how I deal with things differently now, how present we are now as parents that don't drink, grandparents that don't drink. Like we have a responsibility. And like you said, you don't want to sit here and blame your parents, but at some point you ask yourself, like, why wasn't I ever told that this could lead to some serious issues?
Yeah.
As a parent, when you have a child, we do our research about all kinds
all
of
kinds
shit,
of
right?
stuff. Chemicals in baby bottle nipples.
Exactly, like organic foods and vaccines and all these things, but it's like, but yet we're teaching them that you're gonna sit there and drink something that is clearly poison.
Yeah, they're not even hiding
Clearly.
it.
And you're not just saying this is okay, but also teaching them that it's okay to drink often. It's okay to find any excuse to drink. It's okay to drink high amounts of alcohol, and
Yeah.
I mean, even go as far as it's okay to drink and drive, I mean, I'll be honest, like we did that
Yeah.
with our older son, and it's like, yeah, so now you can't undo everything that you did, but you definitely can say I was wrong.
Yeah. I was
And
wrong, and I'm changing it now.
yeah,
Like
and
it's also a lesson to teach your
you
kids that you can do.
apologize because that was a major, major mistake.
Yeah.
And but what can you do? Keep doing that shit, or you do what you know is
Yeah.
right? So, again, like as parents, you go through a lot of guilt. You go through like, I should have done this differently. I should have done this. I should have done that. Like, yeah, there isn't there isn't much about what you already did, right? Like you can't do much about what you already did. Like, but you can make changes moving forward.
Yeah.
And that's all that really matters. And that's where I think our kids I feel that that's where our kids are impacted the most, what we do moving forward and the positive changes we make, because it's going to give them hope. It's going to give them hope at some point.
Yeah.
Like you said, oh shit. Yeah, my mom used to drink and she used to get crazy. But look at her now. She's in the best shape of her life.
Yeah.
My
think
dad
that's the
also,
only-
like...
It's like both benefits, like both. I mean, like, our granddaughter, she'll never really see us drinking, so
Right.
she'll just assume like, oh, you guys have always just been healthy and fit, and that's the life that I should
Mhm.
live. But then you have like our oldest, who did see us overweight, unhealthy, and drinking, and then see us now, and him obviously just with being freaking alive and have sight and have a brain can be like, yeah, they're a lot happier and better
And
now
I'm
that
sure
way.
he's also going to appreciate sober babysitters.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm
But
sure he'll appreciate us watching his daughter
and yeah,
sober and
right,
not,
not to worry. Like you guys aren't drinking
scared.
today, right? Like,
Exactly. And
but
yeah.
I was gonna say, like, as parents, I mean, not to again like bash parents, but in a way, it's kind of like you kind of need to hear it, and it's nothing to do with like, oh, you're just trying to be high and mighty now. Like, no, man, just as a fellow parent, like, it's not just with alcohol. I mean, alcohol is one big culprit of being very unhealthy, but like when you become a parent, and again, I say this because it took us how many years of us being parents before we even realized it. But it's like, again, you have to realize everything you do and don't do is going to affect your kids.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to be there to raise them, to support them, to provide for them. And then, you become a grandparent. It's like even longer now. But like, shouldn't you actively be making the choices like, you know what, I need to be healthy, I need to live longer, I want to be there for my granddaughter, like, or your grandkid, like, and that goes with just not drinking, not eating better, exercising, all these things that you should do to like be healthier. It's kind of your responsibility,
Yeah.
and it's like, I know it's the stuff we don't want to hear. No one wants to hear the shit you should be doing or that you shouldn't be doing. But again, sometimes you kind of have to hear it, and we go back to that's why people drink, because they're just like, yeah, I'm gonna fucking put
Yeah.
the volume
Let's
down on
tune
that
that
and
one
have
out.
another beer because I really don't want to hear who needs to hear all that noise. But it's like when you know something is that bad for you, like alcohol, it's kind of like, come on, it's like. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
everyone knows it. Like my friend Vincent Vega said, I know it, you know it, and damn it, Marcellus Wallace knew it. So come on.
Yeah, we all know. And going back to really quick what I said, but it's the last thing about one of the points that I brought up with the wasting time. I talked about this with you when we were sharing our points with seeing someone pass away so young. I lost my uncle 4 or 5 years ago to alcoholism, and he was 45. And I have to think that in his mind he thought he still had more time, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And we think about this, the things that we show our kids, the things that we expose our children to, and we think we're going to have all this time to show them new things or have new experiences with them. And before we realize it, we've shortened our time. Maybe, yeah, maybe you're not an alcoholic, and alcohol isn't going to take you like that, but it causes other issues, it causes other problems. And you don't realize, like, you're shortening your life, you're wasting the time that you do have, you're spending it drunk, or you're taking vacations, and you're spending it drinking the whole entire time, all these things that alcohol is just taking away from you. And you think you have all this time, but you might not. You might not. And you want to give your children the best experience that you can possibly give them, because the truth of the matter is the world is going to do enough damage.
I was just gonna say the
The
world's
world
already
is
gonna throw
gonna
enough at you that you don't have
the
control
world's
over.
gonna tell
So
them to drink.
yeah,
The world's gonna tell them to do all these freaking things that we know they probably shouldn't. And they're gonna have their own experiences and they're gonna make their own choices. But I just think about my uncle, and I'm like, he must have thought he had more time.
yeah.
And I don't think he thought he was gonna die at the age that he did. His daughter was still very young, and it just, one, it breaks my heart, but two, it just makes me think about, I'm going to be 44, and I'm like, man, just to think that I would only have a year left. Like, I couldn't even wrap my head around that.
Mm.
And just thinking of the time that he wasted, I know that if he didn't drink the way that he did, I know he would still be here. Like, I without a doubt, he was a hardworking man, and I know there was a lot of things he still wanted to do. And it's just heartbreaking, because this is this is how bad something can get when you give it that much power. And again, I know that we don't we can't speak from that type of experience with alcohol, but I do know that there was times that where we were just like, I'm never not gonna drink, like,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
we really were like, this is us, this is part of us, and I'm just really glad that we took the time to stop and ask ourselves, like, well, okay, maybe we could slow down a little bit. And yes, maybe this challenge isn't what we want to do, but there's a reason. Because I believe, even though maybe you were just doing it as a supportive husband, like, there had to have been some part of you that went for something so, like, just out of the ordinary for you, or you would have never done something like this. But there had to be something internal within you that was like, okay, let's do it. Because the way that you just so quickly agreed to it, I mean, at least I think, like, shows that there was something in there that you were willing to do this, like. And again, maybe at the time, because I wasn't thinking I'm going to be sober after this. Like, I wasn't thinking that. I was just thinking, like, I'm going to give it up for a year, and like I said, maybe after the year I'll drink a little less. But to say that I had the plan to never drink again, that would be a big fat lie. That wasn't, no. I mean, it wasn't that long ago that we were planning to go to Cancun and possibly drink, right?
We were like, yeah, we should by then be able to, like,
we should
drink
be
a little
fine.
bit.
Like, we'll just try not to drink as much. So yeah, I'm not going to sit here and say that it was like something that just immediately, oh yeah, I'm never going to drink again. Like, no. Yeah. I had plans to do it again. But there was a lot of things that happened within this year that really showed me that I didn't need alcohol as much as I thought I did. It was just a crutch that I think fear really fed a lot of it. It was fear, and it was a lot of just insecurity and me not being sure of myself, not having enough confidence. But like you said, when you do something like this for a whole year and you get through all the holidays, all the events, all the birthdays, you realize, like, holy crap, there's something, like, there's something in this. Or there's something about this that really has given me a new type of confidence, and it helps you see yourself in a completely different light.
Gives you a new perspective on yourself and life around you, like people around you.
It really does. And I know we've gone pretty long on this episode, but we didn't really get to share the things that we loved about sobriety. But I think you can tell the things that
it's just in general, like everything, like it.
Yeah, it's changed our relationship. It's changed us as parents. It's just changed how we do anything, like, moving forward. And
how I even, like, tackle something, like how I begin to, like, attack something, like, whatever, something we have to do or, like, plan for, or, finances or whatever, like, just, again, it's just it really does, because it's like, it's not surprising, like, it's going to rewire your brain.
Yeah.
Like, something as poisonous as alcohol really does, kind of mess with how you form thoughts and, like, how things connect and, like, blah, blah, blah. So when you're sober, it's kind of like, you get to use a little bit more of your brain. I don't know how to say, but, like, it's just clarity. It's just mental clarity.
I didn't realize how many excuses I made when I was drinking. Like, I always found an excuse for, like, I don't know, anything? Doing, like, for anything, whether why I wasn't doing something or why I was doing it.
Yeah.
Like, it just, and when you remove alcohol, I don't know if it's a coincidence or not, but, like, when you start making excuses, like, you start getting, like, annoyed with yourself. Like, you're just like, because when you hear other people making excuses, you're just like, oh my God, yeah, that's just an excuse. But you start to, like, realize how many excuses you made for yourself. Like, how many times you justified things or justified not doing something. And alcohol just, I don't know why.
It feels like the victim mentality.
Yes. It just keeps you in this, like,
So when when you're sober, you're more just like hold yourself accountable. Like, no, I fucked up there. I should have done that, and I didn't. That's on me. Yeah. But it's like, when you're drinking, it's just kind of like, because everything about drinking is just like, oh, I don't know, I'm just gonna get drunk. Like, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
And it's just like, people are just like, well, why wouldn't you want to live that? It's less stressful. But it's like, trust me, dude. People that drink, because I know it was me. I was stressed all the time because I was stressed even as I'm drinking and I'm feeling good. I'm just like, yeah, it's gonna suck tomorrow, and I gotta do this and I have to do that, and it's just like, then what's the point?
I'm spending money. And
now shit. Now I'm gonna be like, overdrawn and stuff. It's like, dude, I don't know. I wouldn't want to have that life again. Like, I just wouldn't. So when people ask, like, you're gonna drink again? Like I don't ever say never to never or always or whatever, however you want to word it. But like how I see it, I just don't have a reason to want to do that again. You know? So and I'm gonna live that until it changes and see what happens, Like I don't
know. So
well, thank you for joining us on our rant of our 1 year sobriety anniversary here. We are, and I think I've told you before, but I'll say it again. Like, I am very, very thankful that you kind of liked, forced me to be a good husband and join you on this. But I am, I'm proud of you. And I am, like I said, thankful that you suggested we do it, because again, like as you were saying, like there had to have been something there. And I'm like, in the back of my head, I'm just like, no, man, I really like to drink. You don't understand. Like, I really like to drink.
The thing is that I was going to do this with or without you, but
it would have been, I'm not saying it would have been hard. I know difficult. You would have probably been able to do it, but I'm not going to lie. And this isn't to be like, oh, this is marriage and you shouldn't do it. But it's like, when one spouse is doing something, the other one kind of has to do it.
Well, I was going to say really quick, and I wanted to thank you also for doing this with me. But I want to say really quick, because our dog has started
found
up
again.
a way. But I don't think you were forced to do anything. No. I do believe that there was a part of you, there was a reason why you agreed or you wanted to do this.
It's that curiosity, like I said. Like, I want to see. There
was a curiosity there, because I truly believe that, and I think that at the end of the day, if you really didn't want to do this, you wouldn't have done it. Like if I would have said, because you're a supportive husband, let's go bungee jumping. No, you'd be the fun. It's just not
I will support
happen,
you
right?
from on the ground.
Exactly. So, I mean, I know that's kind of extreme, but I'm just saying that not drinking, at the time, a year ago, it was not in any way like it was almost as bad as like, going bungee jumping. Like, I'm not going to do that. Like, why would I stop drinking? And, and I just want to say really quick that I do believe that not only was there something in you, but I think you did a better job than I did at some point, because you committed to it in a way that, I mean, you had your fears and you had your questions about it, but you didn't hesitate, not one bit. Yeah. Like, and that says a lot about, you and your character, and also how much you also kind of wanted this. Yeah. Like, so I just want to say that, because I think sometimes you say it's because of, me, why you did it. Like, I think at some point in your life, you also would have crossed this road. And, I mean, especially because we've always wanted to do better as far as our health and our transformation.
Yeah, that was definitely
we knew that was always setting us back. Like, we knew. And again, it's not that I wanted to stop. I didn't want to. I needed to. Yeah,
that's when you make that realization. It's not a matter of if you want it anymore. It kind of need to, or it has to happen. It's
I wish I would have wanted to a long time ago. Yeah. I wish I would never got to the point where I needed to. Yeah. But anyhow,
I just want to say, when you were gonna say about bungee jumping, I literally felt a fear come over my body, because it's about to start. I thought you were gonna say, like, what if I asked you to like give up football and watching it? I was like, oh,
I already know that's not.
I wouldn't even.
Anyways, thank you guys for.
Because I don't know,
joining us, and I am excited to continue to share this part of our journey. And I just want to say that if you are thinking about this and entertaining the idea, what is it? Sober, curious.
Yeah, I'm sober curious.
You,
Such a funny
it is funny
phrase.
but you will not regret it.
Yeah.
I promise you. Try 75 hard.
Yeah, that's a good way to dip your toe in.
Yeah, and here's the thing. A lot of people are, it's like it's a weight loss challenge. It is far from a weight loss challenge.
It is a life challenge.
It's a
like
mental,
get your life in order challenge.
You get to read some amazing books, and it's just something that I really truly believe plants a seed that will never stop growing.
It's
so
that
really,
whole like empowering, like, hey, I can do something.
Yeah.
Like, damn, I did this.
We gotta tag Andy for Frisella because I feel like we just promoted his little challenge.
That guy.
He's a little extreme, but anyways.
Well, here's to the 1 year, and hopefully you'll come back for our second annual. Wait, is that how you say it? Or our 2 year.
Our 2 year, yeah.
Our 2 year episode. So
yeah.
But
Thank
you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you later.
Bye.